Hello everyone, welcome to Codes and Titans. I am Bhumi and I will be your instructor for Python. In this course, we will go from basic Python to advanced levels. Now, before we dive into the programming, the big question is, why should we learn Python? The answer is simple. Python is universal key in tech. If you want to build websites and apps, Python offers strong framework like Flask, which are used worldwide in tech. Then it is also a backbone of data science, AI, and machine learning. So if you want to build something or get a job in tech, Python is a great place to start a journey. Now let us discuss the roadmap that we will learn in this course. So we will learn in three stages. Stage one will be basic fundamentals. In this, we will learn about variables, data types, loops, conditional statements, and functions. In this stage, we will learn to write simple codes. Then we will move on to intermediate level. Here we will learn about more complex data types like list, tuples, sets. Then we will move on to file handling and also object-oriented programming, which are very important fundamental cores of programming. Then after that, we will finally move on to the advanced stage where we will learn about Python libraries like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib. Now let us first understand what is Python. Python is a high-level interpreted language designed to be simple, fast, and easy to read. Being high-level means it uses English-like commands, so you don't have to worry about the complex technical details of how the computer works. Being interpreted means the computer reads your code line by line and give you results instantly, making it easier to find and fix your mistakes. So Python is built for readability and speed, allowing you to turn your ideas into working programs with much less code than other languages. Now let us understand about variables and identifiers. Variables are basically reference points to a specific location in the memory. And identifiers are the names that are chosen for variables, functions, or classes. There are also some rules to declare variables and identifiers. Now we will understand these rules by a program. Let us first see how the print function works in Python. So the print function gives the output in Python. For example, if we write print hello world and run this program, we will see that our output hello world is generated. Now let's see the rules for declaring the variables. So a variable name can contain letters, numbers, and underscores, and variable names must start with a letter or underscore, which means if we declare a variable age equals to 20, it has only letters, so it is valid. Also, if we declare it with a number and underscore, this is also a valid variable. We can also start it with underscore age, but we cannot start it with a number. For example, if we write age equals 20, we can see that it is giving an error, which means it is an invalid variable. Another rule is that we cannot use keywords as the variable names. Like if is a keyword in Python, so we cannot use it as a variable as this also gives an error. Another rule in declaring variable is variable names are case sensitive. Like if we have age equals to 20 and we have another variable age equals to 40. If we print these variables, we can see that these both will give different outputs. Here from the output, we can clearly see that Python does not treat both of the variables as same. I hope the rules of the variables are clear. So now let's move on to our next topic, which is data types. So Python supports several built-in data types like integer, float, string, boolean, list, tuples, but we will mainly learn about integer, float, strings, and boolean now, and we will learn about list, tuples, sets in detail later on. So if we declare a variable as a equals to 20, now you will notice that we have not written any data type before the variable because Python is a dynamic language and we do not need to define the data type of the variable, it automatically understands it. For example, if we want to check the variable type, we will simply use type function and it will show class int, which means it is an integer variable. Similarly, float contains decimal values. And if we declare a decimal value and then we check its type, here it shows class float. Then these are the numeric variables. Then if we want to save a string value, we can simply do so in the same way and save hello. But strings are always enclosed in double quotes. Now, if we will check its data type, we will see that it shows string. After that, we have the next type of variable, which are Boolean variable. Boolean can only store true or a false value. Like if we have another variable which have value true and we check its data type like others, it shows Boolean as output. These are the standard Python data types. Now let us see a situation. What if we initialized a variable with a numeric value, but we enclosed it in a double quotes? Now, if we run this, we will see that even though it is a numeric value, but Python reads it as a string. This will give us an error in case if we made a program where we needed age for a certain person, but the age is coming as string, not numeric. So to avoid these situations, we have another concept in Python known as typecasting. Typecasting is the process of converting one data type to another using Python built-in functions. For example, if we have a variable age equals to 20, now we know that this variable is a string and we want to convert this string variable into integer variable. So we can do so by using int function and putting variable age inside it. Now, if we check the data type of our new age variable, we will see that it is an integer. Similarly, if we wanted to convert this into float, we can simply use the float function and this will give us float data type. This is a very useful concept in Python. This concept is used with the input function in Python. The input function in Python is used to take input from the user. For example, let's say if we want to take the input from user as the name.
Now let's see how do we take user input. So to take user input, we use input function in Python. For example, if we want to take the name, we will take a variable name and use input function, and in the bracket we will write whatever we want to display with it. Then we will print the name of the variable. Now if we run this code, we can see that the output screen, it is asking for us to enter a name. Let's say we enter John, so it prints John. So this is how the input function works. Similarly, let's see if we want to input age of a person. We will change it to age and run this. Now let's enter age 34 and it print 34. But let's also check the data type of our age variable. Now we see that the number which we entered was a whole number, but it still gives us a string value. This happens because the input function always take input as a string and not as integer or float. So this is where we will use typecasting. So we will use the int function to typecast this age variable and then run it. Now we enter the age again and we will see that it gives us an int data type, not string. So this is how we can use typecasting with input variables and then convert the string into any input we want. Now we have learned about input functions and typecasting. So we can move on to the next concept, which is comments. So comments are the lines in our code that are not exactly executed by the Python interpreter, but their main purpose is to provide additional information about the code we have written. This is highly useful to programmers and also if someone is reading our code and wants to understand it. Now, there are two types of comments in Python. One is a single line comment and another is a multi line comment. A single line comment is printed with a hash in front of it. Like if we print hello, then we can add a little comment with it that with the hash that hello is printed. Now when we run this code, we can only see hello in our output. Hello is printed is nowhere to be seen. So this is just for an information. The second type of comment that we use in Python are multi-line comments. Multi-line comments can either be written with three quotes, and whatever we write between these lines will be a comment. Like, I wrote my first program and I printed hello world. So this is a multi-line comment and it is not again executed by the interpreter. Comments are essential for making the code easy to read and also help programmers to collaborate on projects and work together more efficiently as they can easily understand the other programmers' logic and approach followed in the code. With that, it wraps up our session for today. We have learned about what Python is and why we should learn Python. We also looked into some of the basic fundamentals of Python. Now, in the upcoming session, we will learn about more exciting concepts like operators, loops, conditional statements. So, until then, keep practicing your code and we will meet in the next lesson. Thank you.